Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another video. All right, y'all, back with this real quick discussion video. Well, we'll see how quick it is. But if y'all remember a while back, maybe about a year ago, I did a video, and that video was on the three strawweight fights that I really wanted. The three strawweight fights that I felt that needed to really happen, at least within the year, like maybe like in the 2021 or within the beginning of 2022, right? The three strawweight fights that I wanted, right? And these right here that you see in the picture, these are the three strawweight fights that I wanted. You all can see they happen, right? So I broke it down and talked about it. I said, this fight needs to happen because of this and that. And, I got my wish. Those three fights came to fruition. So I wanted to just do a little something different. I wanted to go back and just do a little video, like a review video of the three fights that did happen, and kind of give you my thoughts and kind of grade them. In a way, I'm gonna kind of grade them. I'm not necessarily going to rank them, but I just wanted to talk about them a little bit and how I feel about them now that they did happen. So yeah, these are the three strawweight fights that I wanted last year. I talked about it in a video last year. All three of them already happened. Am I happy or am I disappointed? Well, as y'all know, partly for one big reason, I am kind of disappointed, but for the most part, I could say that two of the fights went the way I wanted them to go. Or, they did happen, and they did give us a good performance, right? Four of the fighters did, right? So let me see, where should I start? Best or worst, worst or best? Let's go ahead and get the worst out of the way. Let's go ahead and get the worst fight out of the way. The one fight that I really wanted, because it was a title fight, was a rematch. And y'all know what fight I'm talking about. Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza 2. I think we all know how I feel about that fight. I think we can all agree, whether you're a Rose fan or a Carla fan, a Rose hater or a Carla hater, I think we can all agree that this was probably one of the worst title fights, not just in WMMA history, but MMA history, right? I was calling for this fight. I said this is one of the rematches that needs to happen. This is one of the title fights that needs to happen because, number one, Carla Esparza, she was on her 5-0 win streak. Number two, this was that one fight that Rose just wanted to go back and get back in. I thought it was. I thought it was one of those fights that she really wanted to go in there and avenge. And number three, I thought the outcome was going to be different. I thought the matchup was going to make for another exciting fight like it did in 2014. But man, was I wrong. Was I wrong, man. This matchup here turned out to be a just straight up stinker. I mean, Rose and Carla, I don't know what was going through their minds when they stepped into the cage. I mean, for the most part, I'm thinking that they both were thinking, look, I want to go in there and make a statement. I want to go in there and repeat history for Carla, And for Rose, she's always saying, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. I thought she wanted to pick up where she left off. You know what I mean? She's seen as one of the fighters that can go in there and repeat history. When she beats one fighter, she can go in there, get a rematch, do the same thing, right? She's done it to Weili. She's done it to Joanna. And she's won these fights in, pretty convincing fashion. But it was almost like what I said was true, though. Carla Esparza, she tended to have like this mental edge over Rose Namajunas. It was almost like Rose, she just couldn't shake what happened in the past, which was 8 years ago, right? And that's one of the things I kept saying, I still got to lean towards Carla Esparza in this one. I knew that Rose Namajunas improved as a fighter. She's definitely the better striker. She has more power. Her wrestling and her ground game has improved. But for some reason, it's that mental edge sometimes. When you kind of think of the past, and you don't want to recreate history again. You want to fight this perfect fight. You tend to kind of shy away. And Rose Namajunas, one of the things that just made me kind of connect those pieces was, Rose has said in the past that she's like this perfectionist, and, it really eats away at her sometimes. So she's trying to fight this perfect fight all the while. She's playing it too cautious. She's doing a lot of showboating, and she's not doing anything effective, so Carla Esparza is just kind of edging out these rounds here and there, right? If you want to call it that. She's laying a few shots here and there, and she's trying to engage every once in a while, but neither fighter here is really putting on any type of show. And, this is a title fight now, so people, they're looking at this fight and they're booing. And, I'm at home calling this fight, I'm doing a round by round, and I'm like, what's going on? It's 2 rounds. I gave him the lead. I gave him some leeway for round up to round 2. But when we got into 3, 4, and 5, I was just like, yo, what's going on here? Y'all need to pick it up. Well, that's why I said in round 3. But by 4 and 5, I was just like, y'all gotta this is it. Go sit down somewhere. That's what I'm saying by the end of the fight, right? So after that uneventful performance, Carla's able to repeat history somewhat and get the title back. So she's a 2-time champion now, right? So after watching that fight, the significance was high, but the actual way the fight played out was, well, I say the significance of the fight was a A, right? But the way it played out, I think it's safe to say was an F, because neither fighter really went in there to put on a show, because this is still entertainment. Neither fighter really wanted to engage and really prove that they are the best, because that's what they're supposed to do, right? This is a title fight. Carla's been waiting a long time for this. And Rose, she wants to keep believing in that moniker. I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, right? But when it came down to it, this fight just wasn't anything. It lacked everything. It really lacked action, but it also lacked the boredom of some chess matches. At least some casual fans, they can still sit back and watch a chess match. The casual fans like to see blood, right? They like to see blood and they like to see action, but they can still understand a Valentina Shevchenko fight. Every now and then, the pace is slow, but there's still some connection. But this fight, it was almost like neither of those. It was just them going through the motions and just showboating here and there, and a little bit of shadow boxing. So for the most part, this has definitely got to be one of the worst strawweight fights I've ever seen. And that's sad too, because they're both talented fighters. They both have fought some of the best fighters in the world. But when you put these two in the octagon together, I was like, what's going on? Like 8 years passed and it was like they just went stale. So yeah, this one is at the bottom of my list. I just wanted to go ahead and get that one out of the way. I know I asked for the fight. I'm almost sorry I did. I don't ever want to see a rubber match between these two ever again. All right. So the second fight on my list, this fight actually took place first. It actually happened in 2021. But this is one of the fights that I really wanted to see happen. This here between Marina Rodriguez and Mackenzie Dern. For one, this was a step up for Mackenzie Dern, because everybody was feeling like, she's the next best thing. And, she's been working on her game. And I myself wanted to see her test her striking. I wanted to see if she bridged that gap. She's been working on her wrestling and so on. Marina Rodriguez was putting together a nice string of wins. She had already defeated Amanda Ebos and I think Michelle Waterson at the time, right? So she was already on a 2-0 win streak, and she was bagging some main events, right? So once again, she got another main event here, right? And going into this fight, I knew it was going to be striker versus grappler. I always knew that if Mackenzie Dern could get the fight down to the ground, it would be a wrap. Marina Rodriguez keeps it on the feet. It's all her fight, right? So, yeah, that's how I saw it going. A lot of people felt Dern would go in there and win. They thought she was going to win this fight by submission because of the lack of ground game of Marina Rodriguez. But I said, I'm going to stick with Marina in this fight. I think she can survive. And she did that. So I'd have to say, yeah, this fight here, it turned out the way I felt it was going to go. And I enjoyed this one. I thought they both put on a pretty entertaining matchup for the most part. Marina, she executed her game plan of stand-up. She had one scary round in this fight, the second round, where Mackenzie Dern did get her down. But the most impressive part was, for somebody who's known as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu legend, she wasn't able to submit Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez survived the whole round, that on the ground. So she definitely has been working on her survival skills as far as, whenever she gets taken down and she's on her back. She's really working well with that. But throughout the most of the fight, it was just Marina Rodriguez controlling it, just on her feet, landing the better right hand, sticking the jab out every now and then, just making Mackenzie Dern really look bad on her feet, just outclassing her, So I had Marina Rodriguez winning this fight 4 rounds to 1. It was a good 5-round fight, good main event for them too, for, a UFC fight night. And, yeah, I just thought, it was a good fight to get them to the next level. So once again, Marina Rodriguez, she bagged another win, got her on the 3-0 win streak, and, got her closer to, that elite status. Of course, right now she still hasn't come close to getting the title shot. She defeated Yan Xiaonan, which, it could go either way on that fight. But, since then she's on a 4-0 win streak, still hasn't got a title shot. But that was a fight that I think she needed. And that was a fight that Mackenzie Dern needed to kind of prove where she was at, as far as her stand-up, to tell her what she needed to work on, right? So at the time, matching them up, that was probably the best thing. So for this fight here, for significance, I'd probably give it a A- or B+. In the outcome, I give it a B+. Because I felt there were some times in there where Marina Rodriguez, she could have stepped on the gas a little bit and, really took it home and just got Mackenzie Dern out of there. But for the most part, I give it a B+, just because of that one round where it still showed that Marina Rodriguez still needs to work on, her overall takedown defense and just her ground game in general, right? So I say A- or B+, so I'd say, yeah, this fight here definitely turned out to be a good one, so I couldn't complain about this fight. The next fight, last fight on my list, I knew this one was going to happen too, just a matter of time, because really this was the only fight that Joanna wanted to return to if it wasn't going to be a title shot, and that is Zhang Weili versus Joanna 2. This was a rematch that I think a lot of casual fans, they wanted after seeing that classic fight between the two of them about 2 years ago. It was the, co-main event? Was it the co-main event on the on the Izzy Yoel card? Yeah, it was a co-main event on that card, yeah. And that fight turned out to be the opposite of Carla Rose. Turned out to be one of the best fights, if not the best fight in WMMA history, right? So that's crazy on this. On my list, I got the best fight in WMMA history, and I got the worst fight in WMMA history. Wow, that's crazy, right? Man, wish it could have been the best of both, right? But nah, we got the worst here too. So anyways, yeah, this fight here, man, the very first fight definitely put everybody on to Joanna, put him on to Weili, built Weili's status up a little bit more. The first fight was a very close, controversial decision, I could say. I had Weili winning 2 times when I watched it, then I had it a draw. I had Joanna winning it. So it could have went either way, right? But the fight definitely called for a rematch. But, it just took a while to happen because Joanna, she was out for like 2 years, just doing other things. She had a lot of business ventures going on, as well as we don't know what behind the scene when it comes down to the medical condition. Doctors probably could have told her, hey, you need to take some time off, right? And, we don't know what type of damage either of these fighters suffered. Because after that fight, Weili went on to lose 2 fights in a row, right, to Rose Namajunas. So just last month, this fight took place, and I'd have to say it's what you really want if you were really rooting for your favorite fighter. If your favorite fighter was Zhang Weili, you want to see improvements, right? Or if you're just a fight fan, if you really want to see improvements made, and like I said, I like my rematches well done, I want to see something different than the first fight. I don't want to see the same barn burner. I don't want to see the same 2 fighters go through the same motions and try to repeat the same thing they did last time and just try to play up to the crowd. I didn't want to see that. Regardless of what you say about Joanna, having 2 years off and being a little bit rusty, I wanted to see what happened the way it did. As y'all know, Zhang Weili went in there, knocked out Joanna cold, planted her face first off a spinning back fist. And I mean, she's never been knocked out in this fashion before. I mean, she was dropped, defeated, looked like she wanted to get up, but she didn't. And I was like, wow. 2 years off or not, I think that would have happened anyway. Zhang Weili, she's made a lot of improvements in her game, since her last 2 fights against Rose. I think she really incorporated her jiu-jitsu and her wrestling together. That grappling's been on point. Her boxing's looked a little bit sharper. Of course, she still takes some, a few reckless chances here and there. She got hit with a few shots from Joanna in that first round. But overall, I thought she did a good job of just using her timing and just bullying Joanna from the jump. But, I have to say that Joanna really did look like she was out of place here. She was getting taken down, just getting handled all over again. And Joanna's ground game just looked non-existent. Like, I kind of thought she had a ground game before. I know she had takedown defense, but I thought she could have survived a little bit more. But here, she just really looked bad. The ground and pound really wore her down and just broke her will. So she went in the second round just trying to put on a lot of pressure, with throwing these wild right hands going for the knockout, and boom, she walks right into a spinning back elbow, and boom, she's out, right? So, yeah, this fight here, like I said, it was definitely one I asked for on the list, and giving me a second round knockout after, getting 2 decisions on my strawweight wish list, I have to say this was probably the best fight on the list. I think it turned out to be the best because, they made the right, Zhang Weili made the right improvements. And, she went in there and executed. So she finished it off the right way. I mean, the night it was playing with my emotions. I didn't know what was going to happen. Then, boom, man, she got knocked out. I was like, wow. Not only that, she sent Joanna into retirement, So that fight was a big one. Might get knockout of the year for me, when it comes to WMMA. So for this one, significance, I give this significance, say, an A minus. I say an A minus and not an A plus. Well, I'll say I'll say an A minus, just because Joanna been out for 2 years, and Zhang Weili is still, she was still coming in this fight 0-2 in her last 2 fights against Rose, and still kind of makes you say, did she deserve a title shot or not? So I take a little bit away from it, but at the same time, it still holds a lot of weight because these 2 fighters, they like to fight. They want to fight. And they're still the best of the best, regardless. They are the titans at the top, between Rose, Joanna, and Zhang Weili, right? And, they've done a lot to get there, right? So I'd say A minus as far as significance. And the way it played out, I'd say an A. I say an A. I definitely give this fight an A. So, these were the 3 fights that, I asked for last year, and, got my matchmaking wish, and they happened. The thing is, one of the fights just turned out to be one of the worst. The Marina McKenzie fight, I can say, wasn't, the greatest fight, but it definitely paid off. It was an entertaining fight, good fight for the most part. But definitely the Zhang Weili Joanna rematch turned out to be the best on there, the best on my list. Yeah, definitely, because, them 2, they always, whether they're losing or winning, they always come to provide a, good fight and provide good entertainment. So, yeah, man, that's my thoughts. Just wanted to go back through. That's my thoughts and my whole review of the 3 fights that I wanted. Because like I said, if y'all didn't catch it, I went back and did a video, talking about these fights before they even came to be. Because I said I wanted them. But so I said, I just got to come back and talk about it, do a quick little discussion off the dome about them. But, guys, let me know in the comment section what y'all thought of each of these fights. I think everybody agrees on the Rose Carla fight. But, yeah, how did y'all think? Yeah, final thoughts, I'll say, definitely the worst fight on here was Rose Carla, no doubt. And in the middle, Marina McKenzie, that was a good fight. And to me, Zhang Weili and Joanna turned out to be the best on my list. So, yeah, guys, again, let me know in the comment section what y'all think. What other strawweight fights y'all looking forward to? Were these strawweight fights that you really wanted to see? But what fights you want to see now in the strawweight division, Let me know, guys. Combo Breaker 99. Make sure y'all subscribe. I'm out. Peace.